accepted, where I felt accepted and could be pretty open. So I came out in high school when I was 16, which at the time was pretty young, especially because I was in the South. I was in Georgia, which is a more conservative area of the United States. Also in high school, interestingly, we had a very strong community service program. So everybody was required to do some kind of volunteer work, a specific amount of hours every year. And there was no, probably because it was a relatively conservative school in a conservative area, there was no sort of gay outreach or safe-sex education outreach. So even in high school, I sort of started a group from my high school who would volunteer with an Atlanta organization that helps disseminate mostly safe-sex education for high school students in the area, and AIDS education. So I was sort of active in that way early on. Then the show came about, and I found it really complicated because I was, that's fine. I felt very comfortable doing the kind of outreach work that I was doing just as an individual. But suddenly, because I was known as a gay person playing this character on TV, I felt like I was sort of obligated to do something that I wasn't as comfortable. Like I felt much more comfortable, teaching people how to put on a condom, one-on-one, basic things, but suddenly sort of representing something on a larger scale is still something that I'm sort of struggling with the best way to use that positively for the community. I definitely feel like now just my visibility is of an enormous amount of value, especially to young people who watch the show and related to Justin a lot. So I try to just be visible, to come to places like this, to talk about my story, especially for younger people, to talk about coming out stories, to talk about, for people in the States who are not living in major cities, there's plenty of areas where it's deeply, deeply more than uncomfortable, dangerous to be open about who you are. So for me, it's important that I keep myself visible and keep the message out there that there are havens and that there's a community waiting to embrace you. But it's still a struggle as far as what the show has done for me in presenting myself as a kind of ambassador or role model. I'm not entirely, but hopefully I do some good, some comparison. Just talking to myself. Did that answer your question? What do you guys do? Do you volunteer? Do you outreach? Tell me about this center. Whoever wants to answer.
Volunteer to answer?
Volunteer. And I'm saying that because I do volunteer here.
Right.
I volunteer at the lectures service. We have here the lecture service. Shilut Ha'otzot Shel Habayit Hapatuach is a service where members of the open house go out to high schools and police and the army and wherever we can, and we educate people about the community. And you talked about what you do for your community, and that's what I do for my community, so I love it. And when I do that, I also get to talk about the open house, which is like the gay community center here, and about how unique it is, because it serves a lot of very different communities, which the gay community doesn't usually get to serve. We deal here with the ultra-Orthodox, we deal here with Arabs, we deal with just religious people, but religious people of all sorts of Jewish camps. We have the usual Orthodox, which is most of the people here tonight, but we also have conservative Jews, and we have Reformed Jews, and it's a very unique community in this way.
I would just like to add that no one that comes here for the youth, this place is very unique in the sense that, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
I can't.
No, nobody can hear you.
Okay, don't shout. Okay. So I'd just like to add my point of view as someone who comes to the youth work here, that the most unique thing about this place is how open-minded it is. I don't know if you had the chance to see Jerusalem or Tel Aviv or to get to know people, but it's like the level of okay, English, sorry. You can find a lot of different point of views in Jerusalem, living side by side and sort of talking, which is better than what you get in other places that are just, you know, either segregated, everyone lives in their own community, in their own little bubble, or, I don't know, like in Tel Aviv, I felt pressured to be more mainstream, whatever. And this is a much more open place for individuality and for people that have questions.
Thank you. Question?
I have a question. I just wanted to say that your show that you played on this first break was really instrumental for them. It was a big thing. I think that a lot of people would say that it was a big thing in the sense that it was aired on national TV, and even though it was cable, everybody had cable.
Right.
And I think that